are certainly more challenges involved than just doing the shopping, paying for the stuff,
Mhm.
putting food on the table, doing it all with a smile on your face, in as much as possible. There's also this idea that, in particular in your work, we're not just dealing with clients who have optimal health. Family
Mhm.
caregivers are often dealing with somebody who has a chronic condition, or maybe multiple conditions that also have to be managed. And diet is one of the ways in which they're trying to manage the condition at home. And yet people often will have their own favorite foods. They may want you to prepare something that they love for dinner. How can you still allow someone at home, a care recipient at home, to enjoy the food that they're eating, something that's near and dear to their hearts, but also make it for them so that it meets the standard of helping to manage their chronic illness?
Okay, that's a great question. So, number one, I think it's important for everyone to recognize that good nutrition, whether you have a chronic health condition or not, it all fits under the same umbrella. Okay, so what this umbrella is, it comes down to the foundation, which is the Canada's Food Guide or the new Canada's Food Plate. So if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically imagine your plate and imagine half of your plate being filled with fruits and vegetables. Imagine a quarter of your plate being filled with protein foods like meat and fish, beans, lentils, eggs, nuts, seeds, dairy foods, and other quarter of your plate being filled with grains, whole grains, such as pastas and rice and bread products. Okay, so this is the foundation. And again, regardless of any health ailments you might be dealing with, this is a great start to work towards. So once you have this vision of this healthy plate in your mind, think about, okay, what are my favorite meals? And then how does that favorite meal, how does that align with the plate model? And then from there, see what little tweaks can I make to boost the nutrition to make it better align with the plate model. So it's not about changing your eating habits completely, it's about tweaking them to be a little bit more nutritious. And I find my clients really appreciate hearing this because it's realizing, oh, I don't have to give up my favorite foods, right? So for example, say your favorite meal was, let's say like a curry dish, okay? And a curry dish can have like a lot of meat in it and often paired with different bread products or rice, but sometimes it's lacking in vegetables. So what you can do is that you can just start to add more vegetables to when you're making the curry dishes. Or maybe you'll have a salad on the side, like a green leafy veggie-based salad. There's many different ways you can go about it, but it's really, again, just making those little tweaks to make your overall dish or meal more nutritious. And for most families, this does mean adding more vegetables.
When you talk about using this plate method, is there a particular size of plate that you're looking at? Because, like I might be hungrier than someone else. I might try to sneak out a really large plate from my cabinet.
No, that's a great example. That's a great question. And I have clients ask it too. Does that mean I can pile my plate up like 10 inches? And honestly, like 8 inches, 10 inches, I mean, it's often the bigger the plate is, it's true, the more likely we are to want to fill that plate up, right? So sometimes my clients do think, oh gosh, my plates are pretty big. Maybe I can downgrade that a little bit to help with portion control. But regardless of the size of your plate, I always recommend just to use your hands as a guide for healthy portions for you. So just quickly what that is that if you're choosing protein food, so say you're choosing meat or fish, or if you're vegetarian and choosing beans or lentils, about the palm of your hand, the amount of protein that would fit into the palm of your hand would be a healthy serving for you. And when it comes to grains, so rice, pasta, quinoa, the size of your fist, clenched fist of a cooked grain. So again, this is your hand size, not your spouse's, not your children. It's really, this relates to your body size and your energy needs. And then the last one are your vegetables. Vegetables and fruits would be 2 handfuls. Or in other words, about whatever the portion is of the protein and the grain together, you'd want that equal amount as the vegetables and fruits. And that is a very general rule, let's just say. You still always want to be thinking about, checking in with your hunger too, right? Like, how hungry am I? Like feeling satisfied at the end of a meal, but not stuffed. right? So we can have these general guidelines, but I always encourage to become more attuned to when you really are hungry, when you really are full, because just like when we were kids, when we get older, there's some days we're really hungry and other days we're not so hungry. So use these as general guidelines, but listen to your true hunger and fullness cues day to day. If someone has a specific health condition, whether it's they had a recent heart attack or type 2 diabetes, there are certain nutrients that are of, let's say, more concern to them than potentially others, which I would just say put a little bit more focus on. So, for instance, with type 2 diabetes, fiber is really important to help control blood sugars. So, we're trying to be really careful for people with type 2 diabetes is that they're really focusing on whole grains. So making sure that their grains, that quarter of their plate is brown rice or whole grain pasta or whole grain bread products versus the white variation. So we'd want to put that emphasis. But at the same time, even if you're in perfect health, choosing the whole grain, having enough fiber is also good for health in terms of digestive health and other health benefits. Second to that, like that is an example, but I also do encourage, like if you have a family member that has a certain chronic condition and you feel really, really overwhelmed, like ask for help. Honestly, ask for help, because there's different professionals out there to help us when we feel stressed and overwhelmed, which again saves you time, makes you feel more free, right? That freedom aspect. And sometimes you might need to invest a little bit, but then think about the time that you're saving from that. So you could consult with a registered dietitian if you're feeling really overwhelmed and stressed about how to feed your family members with chronic health conditions. And sometimes too, another thing that can help is find a friend or another family member that you can buddy with. Whether it's for grocery shopping, meal planning, just someone to help with accountability. So often that's another strategy that can help when it comes to trying to, care again for your family members with chronic health conditions.
It may be too that the caregivers themselves have chronic health conditions. This is not that uncommon to find, certainly according to the research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so if you yourself are dealing with a chronic health condition as well, I would encourage, like, don't put yourself at the bottom of the list, right? It's so important to take care of yourself as well. And often I do see with clients that they tend to put the care for their family as more important than care for themselves. But really, wellness, nutrition, taking care of each other and our families is so important, and nutrition is an important aspect of that. So I would encourage you and try to keep things as simple as possible. So the KISS principle, keep things as simple as possible. And just think about basic things, your vegetables, your proteins, your whole grains. How can you take your favorite everyday family meals, tweak them to align with the portion plate as best possible? And guess what? That you're doing it. Good, healthy nutrition right there. And if some days you need to take a few shortcuts, meaning maybe one night you do a frozen prepared meal. Okay, that's not a big deal. Try to pair it with a salad. Need to save time? Get a ready-made salad from the grocery store. So you can get this done, within just a few minutes in a busy evening. So it's okay to take those shortcuts. And in other words, think of progress, not perfection.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to take our quick survey to give us your feedback. Find the link in the video description below.